What's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fair Game Podcast. I am C.
This is Cash.
And we got a special guest in the building today.
We got Mikael.
Yeah.
Mr. Miki War is in the building.
That is I.
How you feel today, man?
I feel lovely. I feel
Lovely?
great. Yeah, this is great. This is the moment I've been waiting for to argue.
We've been waiting for this moment. Definitely, we've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
How about you today? How you feeling today?
I'm extremely tired.
Retweet.
I've moved every single day of our move.
Yep.
I'm gonna
right
go.
on, man. Hey, has anybody told you good job?
That's a legend.
No, I'm
Right
not
there.
worried about
That's
that.
a legend right there.
I'm worried about.
I tell
getting
him
it
every day, hold on, Cap.
He just wanted to make you feel sorry for it.
I haven't been responding to any of my text messages or in the chat, guys. I've been so laser focused on what's happening. So
It's definitely a big day coming up. Let's get right into our fits. We got fire fits today?
No.
No?
Very
We're
cash.
skipping the fits
Well, yeah,
today?
go ahead.
we're gonna talk about fits.
I'm just a
Oh,
guest.
we're definitely-
Go ahead.
Just gonna keep it.
All
We're
right,
gonna keep
yeah.
it simple. I'm gonna do it. All right, quick. Me for the shoes. I went Travis Scott. Corduroy on the pants. Stretchy took a page out of Cash's book. Zoom in on the stretch when we get a chance.
Hell yeah.
On the top, I did a Billionaire Boys Club shirt. Ready for summer. So, ready for summer. On the lid right here, my favorite one. This is Mango Lava. Goes with the Unions. The black one, my favorite one.
Noir.
That is all for me today. Cash, what about
Today,
you?
I got the 7th year anniversary of the Mac Park right
It's
here.
one of your
I'm
favorite
confused at
It's
why I
def-
still don't have that shirt.
It's definitely like my favorite shirt out of the Mac
Okay.
Park so
shirts.
far.
I've seen
Yeah.
multiple episodes. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, good fella on the jeans. You see that? You see the stretch on this bad boy?
Mean stretch.
I'm happy I'm on the podcast to support your good fellow movement.
Target.
Are you a good fellow user as well?
No, I'm not. But
Wow.
but hold on.
I stay away from that stuff.
No. But in emergency cases, like when you need something for like an event that you're not accustomed for, you can definitely get a low priced, well made pair of pants.
What was the last thing you bought at Target?
Everything.
But was it? Did you go to the clothes
Oh,
section?
no,
at all?
absolutely not. No, grocery-
I'm telling you right
There's
now.
gems in the clothes section.
There's gems. It's up there with designer clothes.
yeah. There's concert tees. There's like
crazy.
stuff.
To have concert tees in the Target section is crazy.
Let me
Bro,
move on to
what you doing with the shoes?
my sneakers, man.
Yeah.
I got one of the most underrated releases this year. I got
Agreed.
the Union 1 Canvas AJKO.
Did you go golfing in those?
I haven't
Like you
went
said?
golfing yet, so I definitely gotta accomplish that feat. I got the other hat in the Union collection. Which one's this one?
Mango lava.
Mango Lava.
I'm gonna need you to know which one it was.
I don't have the curved brim. I'm a straight brim type of guy.
Yeah.
I have too big of a head to curve the brim. You feel me?
Yeah. What size are you?
I am a size. That's what you're doing.
Yo,
That's what
that
you're
sounds
doing.
Crazy. Go ahead.
I
So
have
go ahead.
a-
No, answer.
I have a pretty big size 8.
You need.
Yeah, I have space. So, I mean,
You're growing out the hair.
yeah, I'm growing out the hair.
All right.
Usually I'm like a 7 3/4 if, I got the short hair.
Exciting.
What about you, man?
What you got on?
Comfy. I'm almost to the final boss of dad shoes.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah. I'm in the A6 Kayano, gel Kayano 14s, black coffee, silver joints. To be honest, nothing special. They're probably at retail on StockX, but I stopped by a store in Pasadena called Neo, Pasadena, and they had them on the shelf, and I was like, man, these are hot. So I just needed some shoes with some brown in it.
It's tough to do a silver shoe.
Yeah.
Silver shoes are tough.
Yeah, a little
Those are
metallic.
fire.
You
I
kept
like them. I
kept
like them a lot.
clean.
Yeah, no, they are clean. I just bought them. So, and I got the Tiger Camo Nike Lab Nike pants from Japan. That I got these like a long time ago.
Did you get them in Japan?
No, yeah, I did. That's fine.
Oversized.
They are an extra large, so I would say they fit just a little larger than like true to size.
Okay. Nike stuff is a little bit different. Like
Yeah.
dad gear.
Yeah. On top, Mag Park hoodie, cross hoodie, at the Topanga location. So you catch that there. And then on the dome, classic reverse pink mocha. Let's call it the one that put me on. So yeah.
It's my favorite one.
Yep.
I wear that all the time.
Yep.
Beater.
I think the Diamondbacks 2.0 is probably my favorite.
I literally have 4 of them on ice, and I paid resale for 3 of them. Because it's just I was like, oh man, I should have
Paying
should've
resale
kept
for
a
a hat
couple.
is crazy.
Paying resale
Have
for
you-
your
have you
own
paid-
hat.
have you ever
is
paid resale for a
crazy.
hat?
No, I've never paid resale for my own hat. For a hat, no.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your hats reselling? They're like, that's crazy. Just like make something and then people are interested in buying it for an absorbent amount.
Was that even a thing? Also, just on top of that, was that even a thing before your hats came out?
Well, people forget about Fear of God hats, fitted hats. When we're talking about fitteds, right? You could get into the whole like Chrome Hearts, gallery department, like the hat category, right? Like resale hats is not an uncommon thing. Kill the hype. Shout out to my boy Vic. But with fitteds, I think it was just like a moment in time. And I think we all know like everybody had money at one point, a little too much money, you could say, that they were just spending on anything and everything. Hence, supply and demand. And so to be on the other side as a long time or lifetime reseller, to see your own product, your own brand, be on a platform like, a marketplace like StockX, or, I mean, it's funny. I was searching OfferUp and I typed in Mac Park just for the fun of it. And it's like it's just hats. And it's like, you go on Grailed, you type Mac Park, and it's just like hats, eBay. Like it's crazy.
That's fire.
To see that shift,
Was that like, what was your initial response? Like, how did you feel in that moment?
We made it. No, I'm just no. I tripped out. I mean, it's just like, I mean, you kind of know because like the demand was there, and like the streets always determine what will happen at the next level. And
Facts.
if you see the hype, the culture supporting what you're doing on the streets, because it started with the community, and they were flipping our hats. I remember the Noir collection when we first dropped it. Like we had a line down the block, and it was like one of those things. And when you saw it instantly, those hats, I think at its peak, Mango Lava was like 250, 300. The Noir was probably, which is crazy because that's an OG Noir.
Yep.
Because it's got the right color threading.
Yep.
People don't know that New Era, for whatever reason, just never got the color right after that when we reordered them. So it's a 1.0. And then that one was selling for like 200, 150 to 200 all the time, which you could look at it like, oh, that's not a lot. But like when the hat was $50 retail,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Now, what else is selling for 3X, 4X?
That part. Why is it so hard to get your hats? And can you explain NFT for us?
Sure. So pre-NFT, it was hard because we just didn't know our demand and we had to figure it out. And at the same time, a lot of people don't know that, amidst COVID, even though COVID in your world, it was slowly being fixed or changed or updated. All of our hats were being manufactured in Bangladesh, and the entire country was shut down at a certain point after we were back outside, basically. And so that's supply chain issues. And then they didn't move everything over to China for our manufacturing. So we were, for a long time there, like we were restricted to only a certain amount of hats. So that created the demand part. The supply part, when we realized, so I teamed up with a company called ShopX to do the NFT thing for like people who like, there's going to be 2 different sides. I feel like either you get it and you don't. And it was our job to explain it. So basically, this is the easiest way I explain things. I'm gonna pitch you guys on an NFT pass. Okay. So if I said there's a membership, and for $5,000 a year, one-time payment, you will be able to get every Jordan release for the year for retail. Would you be interested?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Does it come with anything else?
No. It's
Okay.
access.
Every Jordan release.
Every Jordan release.
For retail price.
For retail price.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Can I resell them?
Absolutely.
Copy.
You do what you want. You paid for it.
I'm in.
It's an investment.
Yes.
Right? It's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if our hats were reselling, this one specifically on that I'm wearing today. At one point, I saw somebody sell it for $1,000, right? $800. It depended on the size that you're buying, but $800 to $1,000. I saw it on Instagram live, like auctioning style, right? And so if I know that this is worth that, then imagine me saying, hey, I'll sell you this pass for one time that I'm going to charge you for a lifetime. Never again am I going to charge you again for this pass. I'll give you this hat for free for, I think it was $850 is how the math worked out for the top tier. And you get this hat for free and you get access to all of our hats that are reselling for the rest of your life, right? So plus 25% off all the brands we carry. Plus you get to be a part of a design contest where we might bring your hat to life if the community votes for it. Plus events, plus free gifts, plus, right? Plus.
Plus.
So, and even the first version, we'll call it, we're the first to do this. So we are learning as we go as well.
Wait. We're the first to do this. No one else
In period.
Nah.
did an NFT first.
No. Not NFTs.
No. NFT for
So
the hats.
So with this, the NFT thing, it's called, well, first of all, it's non-fungible token. So we're breaking it real down, right?
Yep.
And essentially it's a digital asset that can't be duplicated, right? And it all lives on this thing called the blockchain where you can see every little movement. So like if you wanted to see every digital wallet that paid us, you can see it online. If you want to see every movement we made with our money, you can see it going out. Like it's all there. It's transparent. So the reason and the style of NFT that we did, the most famous is the images, right? Like everybody wants to own digital art. Cool.
Yeah.
That's one placement. I'm not a huge believer in that space, right? And I'm not downgrading that because definitely there's been people successful. Shout out to Fran Relations and a bunch of other people that are in that space. But for us, I always felt like the technology of NFTs was super interesting and had the most potential. And the style of NFT we did is called token gated products, right? So token gated just means you need to have a token to redeem a product, and you have to be able to prove that you own this pass to be able to, purchase this product. So our website, shout out to ShopX, is protected from bots. Like when we first launched our hats, like there's no bot that can duplicate a pass, a key, unlocking a product on our website. So anytime a bot would check out one of our products, it auto cancels. So then this was our way of basically controlling our community being able to buy at any time and never compete with a bot. So when I'm selling you this pass to buy every Jordan release ever, you will never have to lose to a bot.
Pretty fire. I'm in.
Yeah.
Sold. Give me an NFT.
I just want to clarify. This is the first ever brand to put out an NFT this successful and at this high of a demand. So Nike's never done it. Jordan's never done it.
Yeah. So and it's going to be hard for those companies to do it at their scale. And I think they're not going to be fully on board with charging an upfront fee. I can see them though, possibly giving it away for free and then having some sort of an upcharge or a premium plan or something like that, maybe more subscription model based. I can't take the crown of first to do it as a brand. That is probably going to be somebody like the Hundreds. They have their community, the Atom Bomb Squad. Unfortunately, you can get around their token gated technology though, because I have a lot of friends in that space who botted their website and were able to check out NFT exclusive products with no problem.
Yeah.
So I think we might be the first, token gated technology that protected its actual assets.
Security.
Yeah. And so we have our Discord. Shout out to our Discord. Shout out to our NFT community. We're actually about to approach our 1 year anniversary, which is crazy because it feels like years that we've been doing this. Like it's
for you for sure.
Because it feels like so much work. Yeah. It's like, because I'm a face of the brand, then, it's like the community almost thinks like you're only there for them and you have to be only there for them. I feel that same responsibility sometimes with the staff. Like I feel like, if dad's not here, like I'm, we're gonna do whatever. So those are some of the challenges. But like I do my best. I check in almost every day, and we just talk and we try to keep the momentum going. I think we're learning, and I think we're only going to get better. So it's an interesting time. The hat like resell or hat market isn't what it was, just like every other category.
Yeah.
So
Throughout this past year, is there anything you would change on how you started, or even to this day, is there any upcoming changes to the NFT?
yeah, I mean we've hired a couple people to just be responsible for the Discord, to be active and to continue the momentum. I think what I would change is I would probably do a lot less hats. I think we and like everybody else, whether they say it or not, are holding a ton of excess hats, regardless, because the appetite in general of people just spending money across the board has shifted.
You mean quantities or design?
Quantities. I think
Okay.
design wise, we definitely would have wanted to do more designs, but that also kind of tallies back to, hey, New Era's like, hey, you guys can order 500 hats this week, right? And we used to sell, I won't say exact numbers, but like there's certain hats we sold thousands, like thousands of units in a couple hours.
Pre-NFT, correct?
Yeah. So, and then post NFT, we would go through a couple hundred in a day. And then now, it's like the game shifted. Not everybody wants to buy. You could see it, man. Like there was times you could just make any hat, honestly, as long as it was decent, and it would sell out. That's not the case today.
Gotta have a story.
It's got to have a story, but also like it's gotta. But yeah, you got to have a story, but then also you got to have the demand around it, and I don't know. It's got to be good. You can't go too crazy.
It's got to be good. Listen to what he said, guys. It has to be good. Can't just be anything lackluster. It has to be a nice hat that speaks to you.
Facts.
Yeah, I think the details are always what separates the difference between a good and a bad hat. Like I can make another brown, black, and throw some silver on the stitching and call it a day and say it matches the shoe and put them next to each other. But if you don't put in the details of like, oh, this palm tree in the patch has got to be this has got to be that with the number, and then this outline's got to be this, right? Like all those different details really matter between a good and a great hat.
That brings me to my next question.
Yeah.
What inspires your designing? When you design, you have all these hats. One time you showed me a hat and you're like, yeah, this is from my dad's jersey from back in the day. And I was just like, you just took me into a portal.
Yeah.
What inspires your designing when you're designing these hats? What motivates you?
Everything. I think inspiration and I guess motivation is all around us. And, when you really dive into what is available to you and what's within reach, then you start to really explore what the possibilities are. A lot of things, it's crazy how things are meant to be, but like a lot of things just end up working out really well. When I first started this, being fully candid, like we were here and I was like looking at the Mocha One coming out, saw the Travis, and I'm like, man, like ain't nobody done. I wonder if anybody's done a brown Dodgers hat, right? And shout out to my guy Marco from New Era. He was checking out what's called the catalog of what was coming up, and there had only been 4 other hats that had ever been a Dodgers brown hat, and none of them were fitted. So I was like, yo, like, let's try this out. And we did an all brown hat, which is the 100th anniversary Pink Mocha 1.0. And I was like,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Fire.
that's probably one of my favorite patches. Especially because I know it's validated because so many people have copied it and not changed a single detail. And
Bit
put it
the
on a
whole
different
hat.
hat. Yeah.
Bit the whole hat.
Yeah. They just literally just changed some of the panels, but I love that hat. That was the first one I made. I was like, damn, this is dope. I'm like, but I gotta play it safe too. Like, we should make an all black one. And then that's how we made the other one, the 1.0 all black with the 60th anniversary patch. And I was like, oh yeah, this patch is dope. Like, I don't want to put I want to do the hat all black because it's safe, but I'll put in the brown in the patch and the pinks and the, metallic or whatever. And then that looked good. And I was like, okay. I'm like, man, I like both of these. I'm like, let's do a two-tone.
Now we're cooking.
And so then that's when we made the two-tone. And that one was special because I felt like it was the first time, like, because when hats were popping, people were changing the color of the underbrim and they were changing details. But like with that patch, like I picked a lot of colors that didn't really go with the story, but it just looked amazing, which was like the light blue, the light green, the pink obviously was already in there. And so having the patch almost like shine on its own as well, that became a moment with that one. I know that because a lot of stores copy that one, So I paid for a couple holiday dinners for some teams, but it's a compliment, Like I can't even be mad at that. It definitely separated us, and it's honestly, I think, our most sold hat in the history of our company.
Damn.
It's the probably most sold
Sought
single
after.
SKU that we've ever sold in
That's
this
fire.
company. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do you design with a team? Do you do it on your own? Do you have the eye? Are you the guy who's like putting it together, or are you the guy who's actually like creating it right there? How do you work with
Like
that?
the whole workflow.
So before it was just me and Marco from New Era, and I would just tell him my ideas. He would be the one to tell me this is possible, this is not possible, this is a good idea, this is maybe you want to switch this up, and he would just be kind of someone that I'd feed off of. And then when that hype started happening, Big Boy, aka Big Boy Brims, aka Chris,
Shout out Big Boy Brims.
aka Manufacturer of Nothing. He
That sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy, but we get it.
But that's why I love it. You know what I mean? But he would come in and he would just clean us out of all of our Mag Park hats. And then he started in the fitted. He got it really tapped in the fitted community. He's a big reason why like I got a lot of love on the East Coast, and they kind of gave us the blessing to be able to be in the space without being looked at like we're biting, right? Because we were trying to still like pay our respects and homage to everybody out there.
Homage. I like that word.
So
homage.
So he was a big part of that. I gave him an opportunity early on with a concept that he brought to the table, which was the Bagel and Locks hat. And so it was me and Marco for Pink Mocha 1.0. Oops, all three of them. The Mango Lava collection, that was me and Marco. And then I forget, I think it was Bagel and Locks, and then the Olympic pack, where then Goik, shout out to our guy Goik, who designs pretty much everything now.
Shout out Goik.
Yeah.
Goik is a freaking.
He just sits on the computer all day and creates.
Yeah. So he's a big part of what I do. And, I literally just sit there doing my work, multiple hats that I do wear. And then I'll have an idea and I'll be like, oh yeah, do this. And then he'll just start. And then I'll be like, oh, it's terrible. Do it like this though. And then, but this is, like he really just starts laying the foundation and gives me options, and we work our way through it. And so, similarly, there's times where like, oh, I want to make this hat because nobody's made a hat with the Salvadorian flag that pays respects to like my childhood memory of when I get to El Salvador. On the street, there's somebody serving a soda, and it's a cream soda, and it's a national soda, and I want to put the flag but color the hat to look like the bottle, and those things happen. And then I'll also be like, you know what? Like, I got to make a version that doesn't have the Salvadorian flag so that other people can wear it, that might be detoured from the flag being on their hat. And, that patch just so happens to, I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like a bottle. Like, let me paint the building like a bottle so it looks like the soda bottle because it comes in a glass bottle. And then, crazy enough, the way that the world works, it's a 60th anniversary patch for the Dodgers. And my mom was born in 1958, and the patch ends in 2008. So it's actually her birth year, and she's from El Salvador, the reason why I'm inspired by this. Like, that's how things come together.
It's all mathematics.
It's all fate.
Honestly, yeah.
It's all fate.
Because you brought up the unreleased, but to come, I did this Baltimore Orioles hat, and I just wanted to make a hat to pay respects to my dad. Maybe he was jealous of my mom's hat, maybe not. But like, but I felt like it was a suit. It was like a fitting Father's Day gift, right? And I had the idea for a minute, and then we had the Mickey and Friends collection that we're working on. Shout out to Big Boy, shout out to Goik, shout out to Lorenzo, shout out to or LA, whatever. And then shout out to
We call him Lorenzo on here.
Yeah, Lorenzo. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Willie. Shout out to Blake. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody there. But we had the Mickey and Friends collection because I wanted to put it alongside the Mickey Mouse and Friends collection.
That pack was fire.
Which released on PacSun.
That pack was fire.
So I wanted to put something there. So I had this idea for my dad. And basically I was just looking at Orioles hats and I was like, what can I do to tie this to the national bird of Guatemala, which is where my dad's from? So then I was just trying to look for something to connect to the national bird, which another great story. It's a bird that if it ever captivated, it dies. Like it just commits suicide or just like faints or something of that nature. So it can't be captivated. The national bird of Guatemala always has to be free. That's the quetzal. And so funny enough, when I'm going to look for a patch for this, hat, one of the only Baltimore All-Star games was held in 1958, also my dad's birth year.
That's crazy.
So it's like
it's dead ass fate.
Things just kind of like it's crazy, but they come together in their own way, and I can take credit for a lot of things, but a lot of it just really, I don't know. You end up discovering it, and it just works out.
Yeah. Sometimes it just falls in. It's like Curry when he starts shooting. He just.
I say like Jokic.
Yeah.
There's some stuff.
But it doesn't look good though. See, that's the difference.
So
that's why I compared it to Curry. Curry is a nice jumper.
Oh yeah.
It's going in.
Yeah.
To wrap up the hat talk, I just want to know what's your personal favorite collection that you have created.
It's the Pink Mocha collection. I think it's a combination of, it's funny because people are like, oh, another brown hat, but it's like, yo, if it works, it works. Like I'm not trying to complicate it. There's Virgil's like rule of 3%, like don't change anything more than 3% so that it's digestible and accepted like in a way where it's a different twist on things. The reverse Pink Mocha set is probably one of the strongest collections out there. So I would say for sure that I think that's what put us on the map, really.
Agreed.
We all go with the hat talk. I want to dial it all the way back until like you're.
Have you seen the notes yet?
I glanced. I didn't go all the way down. But
so
we could do whatever.
He wants to dive all the way back to that picture. Did you see the picture in there I put in there?
Yeah.
I'm talking about those.
I'm sure it'll be right here.
We're gonna put the picture up.
It'll be a side by side.
Yeah.
Who
I had a Kobe
is
bite.
this guy? Who is that guy? What's going on in his head at that time? What's he doing?
Oh man, he's probably thinking about nutrition. LAUSD coffee cake, or what's it called? Is it coffee cake?
Coffee cake.
Yeah.
Cake, yeah.
Little chalupa action, with the hot sauce, geez, at that time, I don't know. I don't know what grade that was. All I remember from those younger years was how much I loved basketball, soccer, math, and my sneaker size for whatever reason was way too big for my age.
Were they hand-me-downs? It was like
No. I still remember having my first pair of Jordans. It was like Jordan 12s. No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which one? Taxi?
He's trying to remember.
It was some taxis.
Because
which ones I really wanted though? I could tell you for a fact which ones I really wanted and I didn't get was those Obsidian 12s.
Yeah.
Because I went to a middle school where you had a uniform. It was Navy. Bro, when the homie
Perfect
Patrick pulled up
with the Obsidians,
with the Obsidians and the
blue
white
uniform,
collar
son.
and the Navy shorts, and he just pulls up to the hoop before the oh man, I was like salty.
Would you say the 12 is the sneaker that got you into it?
Yeah, that would probably be one of the first times where I'm really looking at a sneaker and saying, "Damn, like I want a pair."
Need these.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna jump real quick here. What was the first sneaker that you bought with your own money?
Shout out, I mean, honestly, shout out to my parents. Like they supported the hell out of me. Whatever I did, as long as I brought good grades home, which for the most part I did. I'm trying to think what was like that first pair. It probably was some J's. I would say, no, just kidding. I want to say it was Answer 4s.
I had a feeling.
I couldn't wait till we got here.
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
feeling it was some.
What does the answer 4 look like? Put the answer 4 up on the
Yeah.
screen.
Some Reeboks.
Yeah.
The answer 4, were you rocking it with jeans?
You definitely strike me as a basketball shoe guy with some jeans.
You strike me as a basketball shoe guy with some jeans.
Look, listen. First of all, different era. Okay, different era. Okay. Yeah, baggy jeans with some yo.
Like some
AI?
super
Yo,
performance.
how Michael Jordan dresses today still? Yeah, that's how we were all dressing back then.
Baggy jeans with a high performance sneaker?
Yeah. Cause you guys don't, okay, you may not understand.
No, AIs go with jeans.
Listen,
Okay.
no. As a person of my generation, we always were wearing basketball shorts under our jeans.
Oh,
A
easily.
game was ready to go at any time. It didn't matter where we were. I'm pretty sure I wore basketball shorts under like a friend's wedding in case shit broke out.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like you were ready for the hoop sesh. It didn't
That
matter
did go for a
where you
while.
went. You know? That probably happened until like mid-20s for sure.
That went for a while. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie.
I think,
Yeah.
I, think I stopped like at 19.
Me too.
Yeah. Just never know.
You just never know. Nowadays, it's just keep it in your
No,
trunk.
now we got a store. It's just like when you were like, "Oh, I ain't got no shorts." I'm like, "We got a whole store."
It just take a
Just
couple.
grab a pair of
That's
shorts.
so crazy. Just take a couple pair of shorts, bro. Like we need you to hoop.
Not a couple pair, a
Fact.
single pair of shorts. Okay, relax.
So back to that time where you
Yeah.
were young and playing basketball. Were you playing basketball? Were you playing on teams?
So middle school, I was playing basketball. It's probably right around the time that I took it serious. My dad was really pushing me on the soccer dream. You know what I mean? He was a goalie for the national team in Guatemala when he was like it's called like the Sub-19, Sub-19, basically like the junior team. And so he came here, he started playing amateur soccer out here. So I was with him every Sunday or wherever the soccer game was, kind of watching. I actually learned soccer and tennis first. Sport wise.
Nice.
And then my dad used to work as a valet driver at a country club, and him and a couple of buddies would like play against guests and do the old hustle move.
That's
And-
hard. That's the movie
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. Like
That is a movie.
$10 games, $20 games, and then you're like, oh, let's ante it up to 100, and then
Oh, that sounds like my dad too. God, bro.
Your movie has to start like that.
yeah,
Your movie has to
100%.
start with that scene.
Yeah.
I just want to add on to that,
In
bro.
that
My
era.
dad used to gamble on volleyball games.
Oh yeah,
Like, and they used to play volleyball insanely wrong.
yeah. Oh,
It's just
like
crazy.
this one.
Every Sunday,
whole
just like
bit.
it's just,
Yeah,
just the whole
yeah.
insanely wrong. I
I've
just
seen
wanted to
those
add
dudes
that.
at the park.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
So he's playing soccer. You're at the games.
Yeah, I'm watching that.
He's
So,
valeting also.
yeah, he was doing doubles. He was working at 2 different spots. He did that for 10, 15 years where he finally found a lane. I remember him buying a house, and the real estate agent that represented us, she was like a Latina lady from the certain part of the valley where we moved, Arleta, California. And he was like, oh, like kind of asked some questions. And then he's like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna go get my license. And he actually ended up working for the same real estate agency that we bought the house from, where he was there for quite some time before he got his broker's license and then opened his own agency.
Damn.
Talk about hustle.
Talk about an American dream, though.
Seeing that as a kid, I mean, so I always think about this because like when you're a kid, you don't really realize like your parents are like superheroes.
Yeah.
No
Like,
cap.
did you realize that dad was going to play here, working here, hustling here, making ends meet here, and then everything was still good in the house for you. Like, did you feel that? Did you see that? Did you realize that?
I felt that because I was with him most of the time when it came to like, I remember leaving at like 10:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. to go sign docs, like somewhere just to close a deal. I remember showing homes with him. Also my mom is a top, like legendary real estate agent, you know, in her own regard. And I saw it all. I will say the one part where like I give them a ton of credit was, you know, when things weren't good, it wasn't so much like, did I see the hard work? Absolutely. I didn't see the struggles.
That's facts.
So like,
That's facts.
which I think as I've gotten older and, you know, I'm starting to like kind of get into the space of like thinking about kids and my family and what I want to do. And, you know, in many ways, I look at the staff like my kids because, got you, son.
I am an adult. Don't touch me.
but you know, like there's a lot of things that my staff, present and past, just never knew about, like what I was dealing with or what was going on. And I always took pride in like, that's not their problem. Like it's my problem and I'll figure it out. If I needed help, like, yeah, I don't have an ego where I'll ask for help, but you know, I never want somebody to worry for something that isn't like set in stone. So I think that's where I give my parents a ton of credit because, you know, without putting their business out there was a lot of things I discovered after the fact. And I told my brother about this stuff later, and he's like, what? And
Shout
he
out
didn't
Andy.
know. Yeah, shout out to
man.
Andy.
Mhm.
You know, shout out to Andy War. He's a big part of all of this. Yeah. So
Everything.
yeah, everything. So
Mhm.
so that's definitely something that I give them a ton of credit of. It's more of what I didn't see in regards to the tough times versus like I definitely saw the hard work, hence like why I am a workaholic. Like
That's where you got it from.
I got it from there for sure.
So from that moment on, you seen your dad hustling, your mom hustling, didn't see any struggles. How did we get here? You said that your mom was real estate tycoon.
Yeah. I say tycoon.
I was
That's
trying to add
over the hill
a good
talk.
one. Yeah, I was trying to add a good one.
Yeah, that's good. That's
But
good. She a
so
hustler.
yeah, how did we end up here? We multiple stores, grand opening to a new store.
Yeah.
The home base that we did it here, season finale at the home base.
Yeah.
How do we get here?
So, okay. So I had my own brand in high school, clothing brand. And by clothing brand, I mean one single t-shirt design. And I believe I was 17 at the time. And I got to give a credit and shout out to my OG clique, RBC, which I don't think I can say what it stands for now.
I was about to
Have you ever been a part of a clique?
Nah.
You know what a clique is?
It's just a group of friends, ain't it?
Like a gang that's not a gang, like a
Kanye raps
It's a
about
group
it.
of friends.
non-threatening gang.
Yeah, I mean, my buddies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we had a clique. And we were tight. It was all from, you know, basketball relationships. And even when I transferred my senior year of high school, like I kept coming back to my old high school. I did that for basketball because the high school I went to hadn't won a varsity game in the 3 years I was there. And then the head coach kind of did me wrong after I think I averaged like 20 something in JV my sophomore year and got injured that off season. And then he brought in a bunch of transfers and didn't put me on varsity for my junior year. So I just killed on JV again and then decided I got to get out of here versus playing for this guy. And, you know, my friends were still there. I went on to play for Polytechnic in Sun Valley, where they had a great team already, you know, a solid team. And, you know, we competed, we made it to the city playoffs and ultimately like lost to like our rival for the third time that year, which is the worst. I hate North Hollywood for that reason. But yeah, so like that clique of guys though, were my best friends. Shout out to Marvin, Brandon, Daniel, Alex, shout out to Roy. And we had this little clique. And because I can't say what RBC stands for today, right? It was cool then. I had to like flip the acronym. I could tell you guys for context, and then you could bleep
edit it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
edit it out. Bleep it
All right,
out.
RBC stands for.
I think that's cool. I think no, it's not. Actually,
Nah, yeah, bleep that out. What did he say? Yeah. Mark that here. Mark that here. That's hilarious.
So different times.
Let's get it.
Yeah, and then
So, homies,
yeah.
that's hard.
Bleeping, I
You gotta
guess.
bleep that
I gotta
too.
keep. You're making me do more work.
Yeah.
I always say, all right, yeah, whatever. It's okay.
So anyway, you get it, right? And so
That's hard.
and so we had a whole cartoon with basketballs, those specific items with basketball, holy basketball. Anyways, hilarious, right? So we're like, me in my entrepreneurial 17-year-old mind, I'm already like, this is not marketable, right? Like, this is gonna get us canceled. So then I switched that to relations beyond color, which is the same thing when you really think about it, right? So that's where I started. Yeah, that's where I started Relations Beyond Color, and we had a t-shirt design. And I didn't know anything. I went to this clothing manufacturer. He's like, yo, minimums are 250 shirts. If you want to get it down to like $5 a tee with 3 screen prints and da-da-da-da-da. And like, you know, I tell people now, I consult for brands, and I tell them now, like, yo, like, don't get sucked into these high minimums because you want a low cost. Like, what's the point of you paying $5 for a tee that you want to sell? Let's call it $7, inflation, right? But let's say $10 to even numbers. And they're like, it's $10 if you buy 144 tees, right? But you don't know if you could sell 10, right? So why don't you just pay $20 a tee, right? For 24 of them. And then you're going to sell them for 40, 60, whatever. But at least you can say you're sold out after 24 units. Imagine if you can't sell 24 units. Then you get another chance to try another design, right? Or gift or do whatever. But at least you're not sitting on this crazy amount of inventory. So that's kind of what happened to me. Like, yeah, your friends, your family are going to support. Bet that's probably 20 tees, 30 tees. What happens after that? Especially when you have 250 shirts. So I still to this day use that kind of mindset, even with Mag Park merch. Like, what's the point of making all these units unless you're pumping through them, right? So, so that happened, and I ended up giving away a lot of shirts over my lifetime.
So wait, so when you went to go get the shirts made, he gave you this crazy, tried to scare you off with this high number.
Yep.
Did you still buy shirts?
Oh yeah, I paid for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
Give
Yeah.
him a high number, you still pay for it.
You might find a tee in my parents' house somewhere. Like,
Wow. Okay.
so that was my like real lesson learned. And you know, I'm a high school kid, like about to graduate. I ain't got like a lot of bread, so I spent like $2,000 at that time. You know, inflation, that's probably like $5,000 or $6,000 now. So you know, that was a failure, and then you know, just learn from it. And that, I think, and only Andy can verify this, I think inspired Andy to do his clothing brand towards the end of his high school. And he went to UC Riverside. Shout out to IE. And he started a brand called We Are Royalty, which, you know, we like acronyms. So that stands for, you know, it's War, which is our last name. Guerra translates to war. So he started his brand, and his brand was super like just nostalgia. I would say he was heavily inspired by Johnny Cupcakes. If you don't know who that is, he's a streetwear legend. Lots of inspiration. It gets Sean excited. So you know, he's one of those dudes definitely in the space. So Andy rolled with that. He was selling trees. Whoa.
Wow.
Yo, Andy's so much cooler.
Yeah.
We'll call Andy Yo, man.
Nah.
You was selling trees?
No, he was selling.
That's gonna be a good part of the movie too.
He was selling tees out the trunk.
Mhm.
That's TR. Right, anyway, so he was selling tees out the trunk. Lots of support, lots of online support. By that time, I started to like really make a name for myself as a DJ. So I started to like, you know, that's the family business. So we would help, you know, place tees with certain DJs, and we would support it. and all that. And so when Andy got a pretty good job out of college, he had saved up some money, and that's how we ended up opening the first War store. And we opened that in Granada Hills, California, which is where my parents' real estate office is at. And that was like my first real experience in retail. And really what drove me to retail was I had this crazy lifestyle as a DJ, where I DJ'd for, at that time, call it 8 years at that time. And, that lifestyle is not for everybody.
Do you have to get drunk every night?
When I look at it now, you don't have to. But man, it makes all the nights more fun.
He would just be handing me drinks. I'd be like,
The thing is, like, I mean, to this day, because of my relationships, I don't think I really ever pay for a drink. But back then, like, when you're like the hostess with the mostest, and you're the one kind of like booking all the DJs, and you're like the connector, and I got a lot of people that I could shout out in that space that just like looked out for me and put me in the position of where I was. But I would say at the height, I was DJing probably 4 times a week.
Damn.
And, standard DJ rates back then were anywhere between, I don't know, like $700 an hour, maybe more, depending on like, you kind of treat everything like a night, right? So like, if you want me for a night, and there's like, well,
no, come on. Tell us the price.
Yeah. So, because here's the thing. There's people who try to pitch you on, oh, it's, but you're only playing for 1 hour. Like, yeah, I'm only playing for 1 hour, but I'm promoting your event. I'm only gonna be there. If you want me to make your event the best, like, I should only be there. If you're telling me, oh, it's only an hour, and you're saying I could go somewhere else and go DJ, well, first of all, fam, like, where do you expect me to drive and get there in enough time to get to start to another set? And there's guys that do that, and they're hustlers. They might open up at one club and then close out at another. But if you're doing that, then I don't think the club was valuing who you are as a brand. I don't think the club is valuing what you're doing, as a business. And I had this thing where, like, I just had really good relationships with people who wanted to spend money. So I would always negotiate a deal where it's like, okay, cool, this is my baseline. But if I bring you tables, I want to be paid just like you were paid a promoter. I'm the one bringing you that business. Mm-hmm. So even if I split the commission with the promoter, that's straight. But at least I know I'm going to like tally it on for the night that I'm there. So always kind of business attitude about it. And so I did that for a while. Headline Vegas, had a billboard, played at Hayes nightclub. Like, it was cool, man. It was a fun life. But, ultimately, you kind of just get tired of waking up late, eating fast food late at night, like having all this alcohol, and like, it was just not, it's not a stable lifestyle.
What's the biggest club you ever DJ? Or biggest situation you've ever DJed? Scene, yeah.
It was probably, I might be blanking out here. As far as like what the best look, yeah, it was a lot of alcohol.
I was about to say, like,
no, listen, back in my day. I would say Hayes was probably the biggest look, because it was like a Vegas nightclub when it was still like a great spot to be at. But the largest crowd might have been at Florentine Gardens at a party called The Heist, which was an all ages club. And like, it's like literally like, I think it was like 5,000 kids, super raved out. Like, you could play anything, and it was like the craziest crowd. Like, they're so fun.
Mollied out for sure.
I don't know.
No, it was all ages.
Yeah, relax, my guy.
Don't rub your nose that way.
It's a family podcast. But yeah, I mean, I think that was the largest crowd. But there's been so many amazing events and amazing people that I've been a part of to this day. Like, I still have a lot of great relationships. Pre-COVID, I had this gig that would have been, I felt like, the biggest look I had, which was I was supposed to headline Tao nightclub inside the Venetian. And I had it all lined up. Shout out to my guy, Ian Fletcher, who was managing me. I had a residency in Hollywood. This is all pre-COVID. And I think I was like literally relationships wise, clients wise, like support, like who I knew, how I was using Mag Park to also like supplement what I was bringing to the table. Like it was all really there for me to like kind of like revive or do like the best version of Miki War, the DJ. And COVID happened, everything gets canceled. And after that, it was just like, you know what? Like I found a different angle, pivoted my lifestyle, pivoted how I treated things. And everything happens for a reason. Grateful for that.
So, are you ever gonna come back like Mike did?
Nah. I think I recently just moved all my music off my computer onto a hard drive. So it's there. I legit just got asked by 2 people like, hey, are you down to come back? And da da da. And it was decent. It's good money. But I think I'm just at the point now where there's so much opportunity and things I want to do the next day that I don't want to lose momentum on that are worth 10x what I would be making on one night of quote unquote fun.
So how did your DJ career? So I want to go off like a timeline basis. How did that go from DJ Mickey the DJ to Mickey the store owner of the Magnolia Park?
Yeah, so thank you for looping me back in because when I left DJing, I was looking for a different lifestyle. So we opened the War Store. In the War Store, we had our brand, and I was helping design War, Andy's brand. And then it became our brand because I started, that's when my design, I guess, started. Andy's the one that taught me Photoshop. So like I just picked off him, learned how to do Photoshop, started messing with like fonts and, standard, very basic design stuff. And I started putting together designs. He would connect me with the printers and he was busy doing like his regular 9 to 5, let's call it, or corporate position. And then I was trying to find ways to build this store and its traction. And while we're here, Facebook is kind of your primary social media. I don't think MySpace was. I think MySpace was gone by.
We're around like 2010 now.
This is 2013.
So wait, you're not working. You're just being independent, entrepreneurial.
He's still DJing.
Okay, great question. So I'll give you the timeline of my jobs that lead us up to DJing. I was a warehouse worker when I was 18 at a, let's just call it explicit content creator company.
Wow. Can I believe something?
Bro, I'm learning all this. I'm learning so much.
You didn't see that coming.
I am learning so much today. It's so
I'm going to say it off camera. I'm not going to say it right now.
Okay.
So, explicit company, warehouse.
Yep. Like minimum wage. I only went because my friends were working there too. So we were just like literally pallets, DVDs, that old, right? I think that lasted 3 months. Okay. So but first like real job. Technically showing houses for my parents was like a good job before I was 18. But actual paycheck, W-2, warehouse worker. Shortly thereafter, I got asked to be an after school coach. Quite the transition there. Hard transition.
That's a crazy transition.
So
switch of lifestyle.
Yeah. But I was coaching at the rec centers for free and I was kind of like still part of my community. And so one of the guys that used to be a coach there as well, he's like, hey, I have my friend looking for some new after school coaches. All you have to do is you put out the caroms, you help kids with their homework, you teach them a sport, all while like you're watching them basically from 2:30 to 6 o'clock so that it gives them enough time to hang around at a safe spot before their parents come pick them up. And so we did that for a while. It's called Youth Services. I did that for, I think, actually it was only a year. And I got promoted in 2 months because my supervisor was doing things that she shouldn't have been doing on the clock. And I got promoted. I felt like I was overqualified as it was. So, I just like helped them out. And then I honestly could have left earlier, but I stuck around because I just loved the 5th graders I had and I want to see them graduate and support them and so forth. So I was there for a year. And then during that year is when I got my real estate license. So I got my real estate license when I was 19.
I'm learning this for the first time right now.
Yeah. So I got my real estate license when I was 19. I was working on my first sale, and I think my only loan that I helped finance at the time was one of my old students' parents. That deal alone at that time, I believe I cleared a commission of like $50K. So I was like 19-year-old with 50 grand in cash. And of course, I went to go buy a convertible car, like
100%.
1993 Nissan 300ZX convertible. The first thing I did to it was put a Elite subwoofer sound system in the back, custom logo, and light up when you open the trunk.
This guy's
Like
crazy.
nuts, right?
We used to put 20s on everything.
No,
That
yeah.
was our thing. We were like, I need 20s.
No, yeah. If you look up that car, it barely had a trunk to fit a backpack. But so I was like, I'm using this for speakers.
Hell yeah.
And
Can we
it was
put
a
the car up there too?
Yeah,
and it was a
beautiful.
2-seater. So I couldn't do anything.
2-seater drop top.
Stick shift, convertible. So it was I was being young and dumb. And then that's when I started catching wind of shout out to my guy Joe, DJ Danger Zone, one of my best friends since I was a kid from the park. He starts to get into DJing, and he tells me about this DJ school in LA called Scratch DJ Academy. So I was like, yeah, like I want to learn, like I'm down. I have this bread, right? Like that I'm sitting on. Keep in mind, I'm not saving anything for taxes. I'm not saving anything for anything, right?
DMF, blowing money.
Yeah,
fast.
just going quick, right?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, I'm like still kind of at the real estate thing, but like not really paying attention. And I go learn how to be a DJ, and then cold turkey stop doing real estate, and just with that money, like kind of just like, kept pursuing this DJ dream. And at the time, like I was spending all my money on records. Like I bought so many records, probably spent like 15 to 20K that year just on vinyl.
You still have them?
Yes, but I don't think they were taking care of the right reason, because they'd probably be worth a lot now.
That's fun.
I'm mad. No, because I left them at my parents' house.
Oh, okay.
So they probably stored it somewhere and it's not in the best condition. But I had an elite like
I need some. No cap.
3,000 to 5,000 records somewhere. Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Because back then, like a record, if you wanted a new song, you were paying $3 to $7 a single for a song. So if you wanted the new Pitbull, like, you had to go
Pitbull used to
drop.
be slapping though.
And if you're a DJ, like you want both, you want 2 of them, because you want to be able to put in the instrument on one side and then bring in the record on this side. So you needed 2. So you'd be dropping $14 just to have one song play. So
God damn.
Yeah. So then that's how I got into the DJ side of things. And Scratch Academy in itself was also a booking agency. So that's when they started using me for like corporate gigs. So if you ever saw a DJ inside of the middle of Bloomingdale's in the middle of the day, like that was me playing Prince, Michael Jackson, and Madonna. And, I can't go for that. Like just a little bit of that. And you do that for 4 hours, and they were paying us, I don't know, probably like $700, for the day, lugging your music in and out. So I did that for a while. Eventually ended up DJing on a cruise ship. It was like a special kind of like special guest DJ situation. And they would pay you like $5,000 a month, and you would live on this ship for a month. And it was like, you weren't living in a guest quarters, but you were living inside of a worker's quarters. But the place was big enough and nice enough where you felt like a guest, and you had all the guest perks, but you had like the workers' Wi-Fi and the workers' like prices behind the scenes. So it was like kind of a easy situation because you had no rent, right?
Yeah.
Like at the time I was younger, so like still live with the parents, and like didn't have no bills, didn't have whatever, and I just put up 5 racks, and I did that like 5 times in a single year,
Damn.
and like 5 or 6 times. This is back in like 2009, 2010 maybe. So I had stacked up a decent amount of money, just like traveling and getting to know the music industry and the DJ industry. Um, and and then that one year where I DJ'd in 2011, 2012, where I was managing a nightclub and like gigging all over the country, that was probably like the buffer that I had to go completely retiring from DJing to opening this store with my brother that I didn't pay myself. And it got to the point where like we had to learn everything from scratch. We didn't have a POS system. There was no Shopify back then. We literally wrote down every sale on paper.
Damn.
I've
seen those papers.
Yeah,
I've seen them.
So like literally wrote down everything. Everything you see on Google Sheets now was being done on paper, and then we'd log it in, and we were just like figuring it out. And I would do my research. There's no Chat GPT to ask questions to. You just kind of had to figure it out. And we were doing our best to carry brands at the time. I think we were like trying to get like Primitive or something, Primitive Skate, or some like clothing brands like that. And I remember them like coming in and just being like, I don't know if we could sell you. And I'm like, back then I was like, man, like you guys don't see the potential. And then I look at it now, I'm like, man, that was a shitty store. Like, so I get it. I don't take offense, Jose, or Eric. No, I'm just kidding. Those are my guys. But it's funny. It's funny to go back and think about it. And so it was a learning experience for sure. And then I had a let's call him acquaintance now, that came in and was playing a lot of basketball with him, and he's like, yo, like, have you ever thought about reselling shoes or consigning shoes? I'm like, what's consignment? And he's like, oh, basically, like, you ever heard of Flight Club or Riff? I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, I think I know what Flight Club is, but I'm like, what? Like, can you break it down to me? He's like, yeah, basically, you drop off shoes, you sell them, and then you take a percentage and you pay out the person. I said, okay, seems easy enough. I'm like, let me get back to you. And I put together a business plan, business model. We worked out our fake little Shark Tank deal of like, oh, you'll take this percentage, we'll take this percentage, and we won't charge you rent, and we can do it inside of our store. So it was the first time that we did wholesale apparel with resale sneakers inside of this small store. While all this is happening, Instagram is starting to pop off finally, like, and it's being a thing. Like, literally nobody had a K, like, next to their name, because you got to hit 10K to hit to get to that number, right? So I think I remember Nikki Diamonds was like one of the first people to ever hit like 10K, and you're like, oh shit, like can't see the digits,
Can't see the exact number anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
Big, this guy's got a lot, right? And everybody's using filters crazy, and like, that's what it was. And that's where I started just posting product for sale. And so I'd argue, I think that the earliest memory I have of somebody selling sneakers on Instagram was actually round 2. I want to say maybe we were the first, but I'm not scrolling down to double check that. For this store that we started selling resale stuff. And then I'll fast forward and just say that things didn't work out with those partners. And I'll leave out the details, but we ended up just like kind of leaving a little disheartened about the situation, but we learned from it, and ultimately, my brother and I, we learned a lot from each other, because there was times where like I felt like I was going to lose my brother, not this business, and I didn't think that was ever worth it. And so when I look back at what happened with that chapter, I'm always grateful, because I think we needed to go through that to be the best version of our relationship and our friendship. And now that's showing 100 times over. So that happened, and then when the dust settled a couple weeks later, And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, like I built this thing, like I built them this Instagram account, which they left with. I think I got them up to like that 10K. And this is early, so like momentum is so important. Algorithm was totally in your favor. Like, and I'm like, damn, I built this and I'm in my feelings, and they end up like landing a spot somewhere for like free rent. And I'm like, just watching all this, like, just like, damn. And then I use that motivation, put together a presentation, and I give it to my good friend Eric Flores, who was running Backside Records, aka Backside Clothing, which is like a staple store in the Valley, and actually where I bought my first ever record vinyls. And they were like a streetwear like landmark. Like you had to go there. Like you gotta remember, like that spot highlighted Linkin Park for the first time. They highlighted System of a Down. Like I met Logic there when he was literally just doing like they would do Soul Assassins radio out of their live. There was
Shout
so
out
much,
Logic.
huh?
Shout out Logic.
There was just a lot happening in that space where I was like, there's just things happening where it made sense for us. Like, okay, like a footwear component would really work here. And so I gave them a presentation and they were like, all right, we can go about this two ways. We can fund it and we can pay you, but you'll take, I think they said something like 15% or like 20% of it, right? I'm like, damn, like this is my idea. I'm going to be the one working and I'm only going to get paid minimum wage and I'm only getting 15%. I think the investment was like $2,000. I'm thinking to myself like, nah. And then the other option was we don't pay you. And then when you finally start bringing in some money, then we'll pay you and you get 33% because there's two other people involved. I was like, I'll take the higher percentage. I'm a bet on myself. So we did the deal. And in 9 months, day one, I believe was June 21st, 2014. Okay. We closed War Store May 5th, 2014. So it took about a month and a half to get back up and running on something. We had opened the War Store November 9th, 2013. So I got up and running at Backside with 150 pairs of shoes from 3 friends. It was 3 people that provided 150 pairs of shoes. We did 10% consignment, and then we just ran with it. In 9 months, we did $600,000 in sales out of originally an 8x8 space. And then we ended up moving upstairs, did a renovation. I ended up being able to pay myself after 2 months because we were making money. And then even then, when I first started paying myself, I was working 80 hours a week. That's not a typo. 80 hours a week. And I would only pay myself for 25 hours. All the other hours I was just putting in because I was betting on me. And at the time, hourly wage was $12.50. I was paying myself minimum wage, 25 hours a week. And I just did that for months. And then eventually there was good profits and we would split that 3 ways. I still wasn't getting paid full time. That took like 3 months for that to happen. And then I got paid full time. And then I was finally able to afford 1 employee. My first first official, I believe, was my guy Miguel, who ended up working for us here at Mag Park when we first opened. And then my other employee is a good friend of ours now, Steven, Rare Size Boy, who was with us for a long time. So he was also a big part of Backside Kicks and the opening of Mag Park. But that's how I really got deep dived into the sneaker game. And yeah, I don't know how much you want to know from here to there, but essentially, this guy came in, suede white on white suit. Okay. It looked like he stepped out of the Miami game, right? And he's wearing all white anniversary 9s with the white on white suit. Okay. All he was missing was having some chest hair out. But like homie came up and he sees the spot, works out a discount. His son, by the way, dripped like YSL denim, 2001 Royal Ones,
Damn.
like just saucy. Shout out to Thomas. Like he's always had the drip, right? And so I was like, all right, this kid's sharp. Dad's, he's probably like a boss of some sort. So he just like, he's talking. We work out a deal. I take care of him. I was in the office eating lunch and I seen him. And I was like, oh, I'm selling something. I walk, and the setup at Backside is super eerily similar to this one. It's a spiral staircase with an office and a second floor with the stairs on the right. So I come down the office, go up the stairs, get up there, start chopping it up. He's telling me what he wants, asking some questions. Cool. Work out a deal. Takes like 4 pairs of shoes. I'm like, cool. And he goes to me, he's like, I like you. He goes, if you ever need money, call me. And then hands me a metal card.
A metal?
A metal business card. Shout out to my guy Neil.
If you ever need money, call me.
If you've been in
It's a bar.
streetwear,
Did he do it with the 2 fingers?
no. But listen, carrying around like 50 metal business cards. I mean, I don't think it was 50. It's probably like 10.
Next level.
Yeah, like so he's just like here, and I'm just like grabbing. I'm like, damn, like I remember that. And so there was a deal eventually. Fast forward that we couldn't fund on our own. I brought them a Google sheet. Thomas reviewed it. By the way, he's like 16, going to high school and shit. Like I say, he's the one determining whether I get to get this like loan or not, right? And then we do a deal, and it's like for 100 pairs of shoes or something like that. And the deal was they pay for it. We put it on consignment at Backside Kicks. Backside still takes their cut. And then whatever the profits are, we split 50-50. And so that relationship builder ultimately built the trust between us for us to, start looking at new opportunities because, Backside was growing. The partners didn't really want to put in more money. I was going to always bet on myself. And even though I felt like I had put in a good amount of sweat equity into what Backside Kicks was, we grew the social media and the Instagram to a point where you're like, damn, this thing is valuable, and we had great engagement. So I would say it was a tough decision, but not a hard one because you could feel the opportunity. And I'll say this: the one thing I definitely would have done differently is like I kind of left with no paperwork, like, and I signed up to this deal thinking I knew what I was doing, and then realizing, when it came down to like going to work with a shark is a whole different experience, and I look at it as not a loss because to me every situation is a lesson. And it really prepared me for like the rest of my life, going through these like negotiations early on and not knowing what I was doing. Basically, I left Backside to open where we are now, which is the Mag Park. And it's funny because we came to the space, it was huge, and it just smelled like animal urine. Like it was so bad. Like, and there was this entire where we're at the basketball court was all a huge green floor, like bright green screen type style, green all the way up. And there was some sort of lighting situation happening here, like crazy lighting that was being rented out to studios. And then in the front was like some sort of like thrift / like hoarding paper situation of stuff that like was kind of being sold, not being sold. And then upstairs was like 4 offices and a kitchen. And so it was like so interesting. And we met with the dude and we were able to negotiate, a really great deal for a 10-year lease at a crazy low rate that made a ton of sense for us. And but in return, we were asking for absolutely nothing. Like as far as like improvements, changes, like we were gonna redo the entire building. I think we ended up spending like 300 grand, like doing the entire building, um, from start to finish. And like, we, this isn't a normal store. Like this is an experience. That's always what it was. I kind of like blindly put the store together, like all these like, outdoor fence vibes and like outdoor fence fixtures, like all that. I literally just like went online and I'm like, I think I need this many, and like just kind of like put it together, and it just came together. Like it all just ended up making sense. And um yeah, then we opened our doors August 29th, 2015.
Were you a part of the employee staff? Were you like also here working?
Hands
So
on.
yeah, so I was everything. Like I was um part of the deal when I left Backside was uh my partner would match my salary. Um I should have lied that I made more, but like he matched my salary. He matched Steven's salary, and literally like he and I did all the inputting, all the merchandising, building all the fixtures. Unless it was construction, we did it. Like everything else, setting up Shopify, signing up for Shopify, um, get like we got all of our accounts early, like Publish, Hall of Fame, um, all those like we had undefeated like wholesale, undefeated science still there. We had them wholesale. A lot of our brand relationships, Billionaire Boys Club, like all that comes from like my good friend Eric Flores, who had Backside. So when Backside was starting to wrap up, he did come over and help us out with at least establishing, kind of the layout. And I was basically your store manager, like and owner at that time. And going back to the shark situation, when I did the deal, it was like you'll get 5% of the business out front, and then you get 5% each year for 5 years. And so which is called vesting. And I was like, I want equal parts of this company, even though they were putting up all the money. And they were like, well, there's three of us, so we'll do, if you get our money back in a certain amount of time. I was the one that actually I said this. I was like, if I get your money back in a certain amount of time, I get a bonus 5% equity, because um that gets me to 30%. So I wasn't even pushing for the 33. I was just looking at it like that. When in reality, it was an entity of two people, but it was a single entity investing into the business. And in reality, what I was doing was getting from 5% to 25%, and they were still going to hold 75. It didn't matter if there was 1, 2, 3, 10 people behind that. At the end of the day, it was one other entity. And so that was the part where like I felt like I screwed up. Also, having the aspiration to get their money back, which was about a little over $1 million back in a year, was not realistic. So that bonus,
Stressful.
so they knew that bonus was never going to happen.
Mhm.
And so, I can speak about it candidly because I think there's a lot of people who are currently, negotiating their stuff. Um, Full candidly, we're still working some stuff out, right? Because I believe in you guys, and we want to support it. But then there's the business aspect of it, and I'm always very open because that's the only way everybody's gonna figure it out, right? Like what's best for them, and I always leave room for like flexibility, but things have to make sense for everybody in regards to their time and energy. So that experience for me was super essential in that regard, and but I never really like questioned it because what other choice did I have? That's how I felt. And I wasn't going to leave. I knew what I was doing. And, you know, grand opening and the friends and family event, I threw the first friends and family event August 27th. And we had a lot of, names in here. And I'll stay focused on one name because I would say he's a big part of just why we got off the line so quick. And that was Ben Baller. Ben is a good friend. It was initially a very transactional relationship. because Ben is a professional, at who he is and how he curates who his image is, who his brand is. And he's somebody that I learned a lot from when it came to the social media game, because he literally, before scheduling, before all this other stuff, he literally showed me his IG album. And it was like, this is for this day, this is for that day, this is for this and that. And I was like, damn, like so strategic. And it really opened my eyes. And so behind the persona, that he does have public facing, now he's a little humbled down because, he's got a family and stuff. But back then, it was like big flex time, and I get it. Like I got it, and there was a lot to learn from there. But he was a big part. He tweeted something out basically saying like, "Look, Mag Park is someone to look out for." And I always say this a ton of times too. 2015, we opened right before or right after round 2. I think it was right after. And shortly thereafter, I think 2016 or maybe the end of 15, Cool Kicks opened. So I always say that when it comes to this like established category in the resale game or the aftermarket game, I always look at it like a store closing its doors. And it's like us snuck in right with round 2, and we were put in this like conversation with like a riff, like a Holy Grail, like we're putting a lot of those conversations with these like what I like to call staple stores, right? And then I think Cool Kicks like just found a way to get in after the doors closed because they did it their way. And shout out to those guys, good friends, friends of the pod.
Do we be shouting out Cool Kicks on here?
Huh?
Shout out JB a lot, low-key.
Shout out Cool Kicks.
Yeah, no, I gotta show love to them.
Definitely.
They're
Homies.
good people at the end of the day. They know they're again, everybody's got personas, everybody's got to do stuff for the public facing. Not to say anybody's being fake, but it's just like, you heighten. And so I always say like we got ourselves in the position to be an established, trusted name because we've never done anything to take a shortcut. We've never done anything, just to come up quickly. I take a ton of pride in we've never sold a fake. We've definitely have bought fakes. The pride is in the ability to know when you're wrong and take it in the chin because you're not about to try and finesse somebody else, and you got to take that moment and use it to become better. So, yeah.
Would you wear fake sneakers?
No.
Would you pay for? Would you accept a gift of fake sneakers?
I would then re-gift them and let them know that they were unauthentic. I would rather buy $140 ASIC and be comfortable than force feed admiration from someone that I don't know. Ultimately, if I do get a pair that I want and I really want it, I'll pay for it.
What's the most you've paid for a sneaker? Not a designer sneaker.
I think it's my Fragment ones that I paid $1,100 for. Tried on here.
1,100 they were tried on already?
Yeah.
It's a feat.
Huh?
It's a feat.
Yeah.
I did there a feat.
Yeah, feet.
Disgusting.
It's a feat of feet.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I questioned it at the time also. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I just have a feeling about these. And surely enough, I mean, at the time, market, I think was like $1,500 for them. So now I think, I don't know, it's probably like 2, 3, maybe 4K, depends. It's a good size 12.
Size 12.
Huh?
It's
Yeah.
a size 12.
So
Our size is always expensive.
yeah,
Fire.
I'm pretty sure it's really expensive. But I think that's the most expensive pair that I bought to wear. I have bought more expensive shoes that I haven't worn that are just like, I don't know if I'm going to wear it.
Okay.
And they're honestly at the store on consignment because I'm like, I hope it sells. Because if it doesn't sell,
Gonna have to wear it.
I might have to wear them for an event,
Oh wow.
but it's probably those lot ones and
Nice.
but those off-white 4s.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
It's
And I
good
got
one.
them for a great price.
That's a good one.
To be fair, I'll even give you even more recent example. These Asics, right? I got a pair of the Jowns in my warehouse, right? And it's a size 13. Tried them on. Gio's like, oh, they look good. I'm like, don't do that.
Don't do
I'm
that.
like, don't gaslight me. Because I'm like, I don't know. Like I like them. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go get the non-Jown colorway for $140. And then let me see if these will sell at some point. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If you want
Yeah.
it, you want it. You know, like there's stuff that I've definitely spent money on, but yeah, no, I think authenticity that's not for me. I mean, I get it. It's for some people. They, you know, if that's what they like, that's what they like. But I try not to concern myself with what I don't control.
That part.
Well said.
Yeah. I didn't even break it up. I just when you talk about fake sneakers, I have to ask everybody.
Yeah.
I was
sure.
gonna ask
Have to.
everybody.
Yeah.
You got something,
Where
Ken?
were we before the fake kicks?
He mentioned fake sneakers, saying we never bought a fake sneaker. Well, we never sold a fake sneaker.
Yeah,
Cool
So-
kicks.
Yeah.
we're like cementing who we are as a store.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, 2015 we opened. 2016, I would say we started to become a name that was being discussed along with the Round Twos and Cool Kicks were making their name at the time. I remember the Round Two guys coming in here actually and checking out the store and the Cool Kicks guys, all of them just kind of like looking around, catching a vibe. I say this and you know, no offense to anybody's stores, but like this is about like me having confidence in who we are. Like there's nobody touching our store in the resale business. Like you can argue when it comes to like, you know, I'll say Presented By in UK has a really nice store, but you know, when you got crep money funding, like that's different, right? I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that just stand out crazy when it comes to like what the concepts are.
Store in
You know,
Vegas. The Vegas store.
UN,
Urban
Yeah.
Outfitters is pretty good. No,
Urban
Urban
Necessities.
Necessities.
Urban Outfitters is nice too.
Yeah,
But,
they're pretty
you know.
nice too. Urban Necessities.
But no, Urban Necessity has a beautiful store. They have a great experience. They have different levels. I'll say this one part. We were the ones with the basketball court. We have a real basketball court. Where we got the crypto / staples of in-store basketball courts. You know what I mean? But you know, we've had a barbershop in here. We've had many different concepts in here, you know. So some may have been of influence to others and some not. That's fine. But it's cool. It's cool to just see. So to see the evolution of shops and what they're doing. So it's great. And then now, you know, we see things and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a dope idea. I wonder if there's a way that we can be inspired by this and do it our way. You know, I think that's always been something that I lean on is doing it our way. And yeah, and then in the timeline, 2016, we end up opening a pop-up inside of Hall of Fame on Fairfax. We had a Keymaster in there that went crazy for a whole summer with Supreme drops. Probably the first ones with a Keymaster in LA. And then we had that upstairs area. Ultimately, we had to leave there because Hall of Fame was working out something with Mitchell and Ness. Mitchell and Ness is still there now. But that was actually my first real exposure to like expensive fitted hats. That's where I started my Fear of God fitted collection. People forget that Fear of God fitted hats all-star collection retail was $175.
Ah, damn.
Fifth collection fitted hats, which were new era, nothing like crazy. They were made in the USA though. Retail was $300. So when you talk about like where some of this really started, I got to give a ton of credit to Jerry for that elevated price point, right? And collectors like kind of like idea. I have a lot of them. Of those, I'm still kind of chasing some of them, but man, I'm not dropping the bread on some of those. So we had that. We ultimately end up also opening a location in Buena Park, Orange County. We had the Mag Park OC. And that was, I believe, in 2017. Or 2016 or 2017. 2017. Fairfax was 2016. OC is 2017. And then we opened Melrose in 2017, along with December 2017. We do a pop-up at the Woodland Hills Topanga Mall, inside of a True Religion space. And I remember spending like $8,000 to build that place out. And it ends up being, a success for us. And, we thought we were supposed to literally, I still remember it was like 30 Days of Mag Park was the title of the pop-up. And we literally had like the Santa outside, and we're like, we're only gonna be here for 30 days. We're literally about to open a permanent spot for a 3-year lease inside the mall now. And this is now what, 5.5 years later.
Yeah.
5.5 years later.
Yeah.
Fucking
Crazy. So that's been an adventure in itself. And then we had opened a Vegas location with our second round of partners. Another like huge lesson and chapter of my life. I'm grateful for those people. 2018 was probably the roughest time that we've ever had, where we got broken into 3 times. And, we weren't the only store that got broken into at that time. A lot of people were desperate. So I remember a ton of stores being broken into. But that was probably the hardest time, to where we had to just, I don't know, like I took a lot of losses in private, and just quietly just locked in, and day by day, hour by hour, just had to figure it out.
Going off that,
Yeah.
it's been a very long 7 years. Short to say, we recently got broken into.
Yep.
Sadly.
Yep.
And as you said, it's been a long time that we do have one of the best stores.
Yep.
After this break-in, do you have any like future endeavors for this store in Burbank, or any like anything far right that you're trying to do with this store at all?
I don't think there's anything out of our normal business cadence like that we would change. I think, you know, like every other quote unquote loss, it's an opportunity to pivot, to do something different. I've been saying this a lot everywhere. Like this break in, they only helped me with the demo of the front, so I could redo it, remodel. So I don't know if I'll be doing a ton of glass because it's just expensive. Like if I could just like somehow just like let them in, and like, hey, just don't break anything, like get what you need, like whatever you're desperate for, whatever bills you got to pay, like you actually here, like send me a link, like let me just pay you so I can keep my storefront intact, because it's a lot less of a headache, so I'll probably think of that in a creative way. We're fortunate enough to have a pretty good online business, and good social media following. So we'll probably lean in on that for a second while we figure out what we want to do. As you guys know, we're fully focused on getting this Topanga store open in the next couple of days. By the time people are listening to this, it's probably already open. So come check us out. But upstairs by Nordstrom, across from Zara and Sleep Number, throwing it out there. Owen's Mouth Garage.
All the
Owen's
details.
Mouth Garage.
Latitude, longitude.
The parking spot on the left.
Coordinates are but yeah, once we get through this first bit, which to me, I've been so busy like the last couple months, and C gets a glimpse of this on the days that he comes by the warehouse, but my office. But I was so excited just to get the store going, because it's like the first time I got to be creative since this. And to me, this is like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I take it for granted. I think people take it for granted. Mm-hmm. Like if you look around the store, you come to Burbank, and maybe this is the first time you guys are hearing it. because I probably take it for granted that you guys are day in, day out with me in the trenches doing all the work, that I've never given you guys a proper tour, right? But when you look around here, okay, first of all, this hardwood that we're sitting on right now, pause, wow, is
Bleep
imported.
that out. No, just
I'm not believing. I'm not
No,
believing
gotta
that.
keep it.
No.
Gotta
Keeping
keep
that
it.
one.
Yeah, you gotta let
Gotta
that
keep
one
it.
live.
Yeah.
I walked right into it. It's fine. All right, so these panels were imported from Europe to be like playable basketball court floor, right? The logo was stained on the floor by our good friend Ali Gonzalez, who does all of our artwork. And I still remember him being here, putting the varnish and like just like getting it all set together. The court is inspired by my time at the Los Angeles Athletic Club in downtown LA. I was a member. And I just remember the court just being this thing like, man, it's just so like traditional and dope, right? And then you got the lines, you got the gate for the Night at the Roxbury vibes of like inside outside, right? You have an indoor basketball court, but it feels like you're outside, right? The elements, every single line that you see on our walls behind us, and the big Sneaker Soul mural in front of us, that's all hand painted.
That's great.
Like each line was hand painted, right? The big mural of the kid reaching for a basketball. Originally, that basketball was supposed to be the world, but it's a basketball that was hand painted by a guy named Bumblebee. Bumblebee, now his artwork pieces go for a couple thousand just for a 24 by 24.
No, imagine that one right there. dog.
Imagine if I could rip that thing out and sell, I would sell that probably for $1 million, right? That's what's sitting on the wall, right? And then if you go upstairs, there's tonal white on white lines. There's, different like shapes all over the store. We got our Spike Lee that gets covered by our display case, but that's all hand painted artwork, right? If you look at our sneaker wall, I already called out the gate stuff, right? You come to our sneaker wall, like normal slat wall in a sneaker store, you're talking about 50 to like $80 a pound, right? And it's lightweight, and you could tell like it's just made for store retail. The panels on here, which are meant to look like concrete, which look like real concrete, and they're heavy, like it might as well be concrete.
Might as well be concrete.
Each panel, which there is 1, 2, 3, 4, each panel times 2 or times 3, actually. Each panel costs $500.
Yeah. Damn.
And when you close the door, you see that it is an example of a big sneaker box, right? We added the TVs later. People will notice we got speakers on the roof. It's because we have a nightclub caliber DJ booth, paying, respects to my time as a DJ. There's just details all over the store, and it's not just about putting shoes on a wall. It's not about going to get IKEA shelves and throwing shoes on the wall, which I don't want that to be misinterpreted as like shots fired or anything like that. It's just like, what we've done is like really try to elevate that experience. There's so many other retail stores that I've seen in my lifetime and shopped at, and ideas that I'm just like, man, like I just wanted to be different. And I think we'll never change who we are. And we'll keep pushing forward.
It's something that's unique about, like you said, the Mag Park. When you go into the Mag Park, it's not just IKEA fixtures. I'm going to double down on that because your cousin is at the store
We just
building things from scratch.
Yeah.
Building things from scratch.
Yeah.
Did I already talk about him on the last podcast?
Nah, this is. Oh, we did, but it was
I
very
did.
faintly.
I touched on it very, very. But he's building things from scratch. It's amazing. That just lets you know, like, our pieces are going to be very unique. People come in all the time and say, "Hey, can I shoot?" And in the Topanga store, I'm like, the ceiling's too low, but go to our Burbank store.
Yeah,
you can get shots up all day.
Yeah, all day.
So,
no. Shout out to Jesse. He's a crazy guy. And I throw ideas at him, and really, he's just the guy that brings it to life. Also, a huge shout out to Ali, what he's doing at the store with like, because this will be out when we're already open. Like he had the idea of the shadow foreground park elements in the background. Like when he came back with that after I explained to him my vision and what's going on, and I can't wait to go to the store later today to see the cloud pendants that got installed last night. Like it's just like when I explained this to the mall,
It's like
they looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, "What do you mean brown walls? What do you mean baby blue ceiling? What do you mean?" Like, and I'm just like, the biggest thing that I've been leaning on lately is as a creative, I'm doubling down on my shot, not someone else's. And if I'm wrong, I'll pay for it. Like, but I want to be able to at least get the shot off. That's fine with me if I'm wrong, but I'll live with that. I just can't go and just be quiet anymore. That's not who I am. Like I'm someone who's found, what I feel is like my Simba voice, and like I'm ready to just like continue to believe in things that I think of. So maybe it's my internal Gemini energy.
Feel me?
Brother.
We're disruptors.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it seems
Yeah.
like you as a person, obviously, your confidence, it could even be like your ego in a way, has
Sure.
grown
Yeah.
in a very positive, confident manner. So,
Yeah, there's a time to have an ego, there's time not to.
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
realizing that, like when it comes to operation things, I'm very relaxed when it comes to the ego. Like I'll step in when I know that I've gone through something and I'm like, "Hey, I want you to get a detour from this potential mistake that I've made before. I'm just telling you because I've done it." Now, if I haven't been down that road and you think it's worth going down that road, all right, go down that road. Let me know how it works. If you're right, you're right. Right? Like even with, let's say, the pod, right? Like you guys had the idea. I was working on an idea. And ultimately, like if we would have waited around for me to finish my idea, we would have nothing today. Right? You guys said, we're going to take the initiative. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for a damn thing. Matter of fact, like we're just going to do it. Cool. Here's how I can support. Yo, I got this equipment. Yo, I got this da-da-da. Hey, anytime I get a link for something that's podcast related, I just send it to him. I'm like, yo, like
Yeah.
maybe this is something that could be useful,
Mhm.
right? It's support. Cool. What else can I do? Repost. Perfect. Repost. Anytime I can. Cool. Like, so it's one of those things where it's like, I could have an ego and be like, checking for every single thing that Cash says, does it represent what Mag Park believes in? Like, nah, I could just put a disclaimer. but at least something's being done. And content, whether it's good, bad, or great, or whatever, or anything in between, is better than no content.
Facts.
So I think that's one of the things that I'm definitely understanding and letting go of. Like, I think there's a lot less I want to do operationally and a lot more I want to do creatively. Because I think that's where I'm best used.
It's where you have your most fun, maybe, most likely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to say this though. Like, so I'd be at the office.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell him, like, I be trying to like pump everybody up to get to working because from the time I come in to the time I leave, you are literally working. Conference call, doing this. You're talking to me for 30 minutes. Now you're going over here to go work out. Now you're coming back. You're calling your girl for a second to have a quick conversation with her. Now you're over here and you're talking about this store over here. You're getting the hats in. Now you're shipping the hats out. Now you're gonna go buy a boatload of shoes. Like it's nonstop.
Yeah.
And the work ethic is so crazy that when I leave there, I feel like I haven't done anything.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like, yet last week I had a deal for 1,400 pairs of shoes that were in Amsterdam, and we sold them to a guy in London, and we were having an issue with the loading dock in Amsterdam. And I'm like, on my melatonin gummy about an hour in, and I'm getting a call about like, oh, they're not releasing the goods. And I'm like, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, all right, one sec. Yo, can we get all right, let me call this guy. All right. Time I go to sleep, it's like 3:30 in the morning. Like, and like as soon as I'm up, 6:30 in the morning, oh, I gotta text this. Oh, I gotta get this deal done. Da 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 da. So like literally, I'm dealing with overseas stuff before I even get to breakfast. Like before I even get to whatever. And I'm in the warehouse. I'm in the office. It's called by 10 or 11. By that time, it's like all Mag Park stuff as much as I can while I'm like yelling at Goy for some sort of like idea and concept and a new tee, a new hat, whatever it is, one of our collabs. Like, and then, oh, now I got to get this thing going for PacSun. Like, yeah, it's fun.
It's fun to say the least.
That's what I'll say. I'll call it fun.
When I seen the movie Air, I thought of this company. I thought of us. Like,
Yeah.
have you guys seen Air? Have you guys seen
Yeah.
Air? If you haven't seen Air, watch Air because it's like
Yeah.
super inspirational. It's like Nike when they're just starting. And I feel like this is the same thing. We're like in the office and you're like, do this, do that.
Yeah.
And some things are a hit and some things like, I don't know,
Yeah.
we got to go back to the drawing board. But the hits, it gave me that feeling. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is that. So,
Yeah, I
thank
think
you.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, thank you. Like, thank you guys. Like, I think too often, I talk about this specifically when it comes to our buying, like buying product and buying shoes and things of that nature. Like, too often we get in this like thought process of, for years, this is what our thought process. It's like we buy something for X price. The market is Y price at the time. And then you forget about it. And then 100 days pass and you still got it. And then now the market is under X price. And you're like sitting there as the buyer, like, man, like I don't want Mickey to see that I took an L on the shoe that I bought and da 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 da. And then I'm the one that's saying, F that, like sell it for 30% off your cost because that's the only way we're going to sell it.
Mm.
And the mindset there, maybe you remember who this is, but there's a coach whose entire, I think it's college coach, that entire game plan was around whoever gets the most shots up wins the game, right? And it's run and gun. And it's literally as soon as you cross half court, get the shot up. And if you're it's literally the live and die by the three method.
You would have loved that team.
I would have loved that team.
You would've
Mike
loved that team.
D'Antoni.
I think it was before them.
Well, he definitely had the 7 seconds.
We'll fact check. But
Yeah.
anyway, the point is, if you have that mindset when it comes to buying, right? Like, I don't care. Like, when you bought the shoe, you didn't try to miss your shot, right? When you shoot your shot, you're not trying to miss it on purpose, right? So when you bought a shoe, it's not like you overpaid for it on purpose, right? Things change. Your view might have changed. Your form might have been different. Whatever it is, right? But the point is, you got to get the shot up. And if you're not adjusting in buying, like the whole plan is just win more than you lose.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to accept that you're going to lose. And as long as you do that, you're going to find yourself in a good spot. Because what was hot then is not hot now.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect example for me is Sacai. Like the entire Sacai line was hot out the gates, right? $600, $700, $800 for vapor waffles, right? First colorways. Now, like, I don't know if anybody even likes that model.
Is the Nike Sacai dead? Is just Sacai dead?
Yeah.
Who's buying it?
You gotta
Let me.
You gotta find. You gotta
No,
find.
no,
you gotta
no,
find.
no. Okay. So, okay, perfect thing you're saying. I'm gonna pull up StockX for this. But
Okay, cool.
when you think about what's popping or like what's hot, right? There's a difference between market price and actual volume. So like if something sold for, I'm gonna just go size 12, black, vapor waffle. Well, the first one was the black white.
Yeah.
right?
Or white red.
The
It had to be black white or Forrest Gump.
the Forrest Gump one.
I think so. What
Okay,
was the first thing?
I think it's the black one.
Had to be black. Yep.
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 Okay, we're all good.
Yep.
Okay, size 12. Okay, lowest ask 618. Last sale 527. Current highest bid 494. Okay. View market data. Okay. Last one sold in April for 527.
Not too far. Yeah.
Okay. And if I just scroll, this was a $800 shoe back in 2021. Right? Now, if I go look at where is the 90 day? Here we go. In the last 12 months, 32 pairs have sold. Okay?
It's not that much. Yeah.
Let's
Like those.
Don't do that.
Same thing.
Don't do that.
Okay.
what about them?
I feel like that shoe was in a similar boat. I feel like
Nah, it's
Okay,
not
hold
even-
on.
It's
Similar
not even
boat.
close though,
Okay,
Okay.
hold on.
because these weren't sought after.
Hold on.
Like a
No.
vapor
I'm
waffle.
gonna give you one stat line. Okay. Last 12 months, and it hasn't even been released for 12 months.
That's why the stat's so high.
Since February.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure some people back. Let's go since January.
They were in Flight Club for a while.
Okay. 400 sales.
That's kind of low for something that just came out and it's not out.
This is valid.
I'm not wearing a brick. I'm just saying. I'm wearing a sleeper.
What are we in May? So it's 3 months, 4 months.
Basically, June.
It's 100 sales a month.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's for one size.
It's not terrible, but it's not
actually
great.
pretty good.
Here we
Back to
go.
what I was saying.
It's
Sorry,
actually pretty
sorry,
good.
I got you actual statistics.
It's actually pretty good,
4,200 pairs.
motherfucker.
That's a lot.
Motherfucker.
That's the size when they came out. That's
Just
the
take
release.
that damn L. Just chew it.
No, I
Brick.
can
Bite
tell-
it,
no, I
chew
can
it.
tell- no, but I can tell you for a fact because I get StockX's data sent to me directly from my sales rep. Okay, so like it's not sketch, but I get StockX's sales data. AJKO, both styles, leather and canvas, top 10 highest demand SKU. But
He's going off stats we can't see. Don't do that.
But in the lowest gap under retail. So like there's an under retail category.
So wait,
But to be fair,
if it's higher than retail, does that mean it's not sought after?
you're saying that's true?
Yeah. So
Well, I can tell you for a fact, I got I want to say that exactly. I got 600 pairs of Union AJKOs, leather and canvas. We put them on PacSun PS Reserve, right? They sold 500 pairs in 4 days.
for
160.
it's basically retail.
White Jordan.
White Jordan Low.
Okay.
Our PS Reserve beat StockX's price on that day. That was
Yeah.
my goal, which I succeeded on that. But it was a point. It was a point to make.
I'm not saying it's a brick. I'm
You
just saying
are
it's
saying
not-
it's a
I
brick.
didn't. I never said.
You
I just
said
said
it's
that
a
right
brick,
now.
dog.
You said
Maybe
sitting on
say it.
shelves.
Because it is.
That's a
Because
brick.
it is.
It's
No,
not.
that doesn't make
it's
it a
not.
brick.
it's
But what
not-
shelf?
Shelves.
What shelf is it at right now?
A couple shelves.
Where?
What shelf?
Put the picture of the shelf.
You want to know
up
what's
here.
sitting on shelves? Jordan 3s.
All right, let's get back
No.
to our guest because that's a crazy take. They're gonna do new collabs on 3s right now. What are you talking about? Anyway, so we were saying, where were we at on him? We were saying, we got to Sakai's being dead. Invested in the Sakai. Sakai's are dead.
Yeah, just the mantra has changed for us. You know,
Buying and selling and
Yeah,
trading.
buying
Yeah.
and selling and trading
Yeah.
for this store.
Oh, it's been cut, bro. Cost blazers.
Okay. I think we could definitely get a second episode out, or plenty of episodes out of.
Yeah, I'll be
Mr.
back.
We're gonna do it in
Mikael.
a new store for sure.
Yeah,
I'll be
definitely.
back. I'll be back.
Definitely. So let's just outro it out.
What else you want to know?
His birthday's coming up. His birthday. We can sing him. We can sing him happy birthday.
No.
We're singing.
We're not doing that.
that.
We're not doing that.
We'll do it another video.
Yeah.
Any last words for anybody listening out there? Any maybe inspirational things you want to say?
Future
like that?
entrepreneur.
You feel me?
Okay. Biggest things are, we all know the difference between right and wrong. We all know what it takes.
Do we?
No, we do.
Okay.
No, we do.
No, not we, but
No, I think we do.
Okay.
And we all know the difference between the journey of A to B. The problem is, the difference is discipline. The problem is discipline is boring. And so when you end up taking a shortcut, which makes it exciting to not be disciplined, then you get distracted and you withhold yourself from your own success. The better you're able to focus on the discipline and the work day in, day out, when you come in and you don't clock in just to clock in, and you clock in to make an impact, to make a difference, to win one thing, like win one category, complete one task. Before you know it, right, you work 20 days in a month, you completed 20 things in a month. When you look at that, and it sounds cliche, maybe corny for some, but like when you put in those daily deposits in every aspect of your life, things add up. And before you know it, like you look around and you're like, oh man, 7.5 years later, I still got a store. I have a partnership with a world-renowned corporate company. I have some of my creative ideas being valued beyond the market value that I put it on. I think those are important things that we can take for granted, because it's way cooler to not do the things you're supposed to do. And so I think if you focus on the things you are, because, I double down. I think we all know the right and the wrong. I think ultimately it's just not as fun to do it in a short amount of time. And that's the difference, ultimately.
Appreciate you for stopping by on the season finale of the Fair Game podcast.
Definitely appreciate you. We're going to do some more stuff on the new seasons.
Yeah.
We're going to be at a new set, new store.
I'll do one episode a season. How about that? Wait, how many episodes you guys do a season?
We were at 15. Definitely next season's probably going to be around 20.
Yeah, we'll do 20. We did 20, but we did like pilots, things like that.
Yeah, I feel the only reason why we're doing a season 2 is because we're definitely getting a new set. We're moving stores. We're going to be busy for the next week or two.
I want to do one every 10.
One every 10?
Is that
Got
cool?
you.
That's
Easy.
cool.
That sounds good.
Done.
Because I just want to talk regular topic.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about me.
Yeah, we just had to get that first.
No.
one.
Yeah,
we definitely had to get this amazing interview out the way.
Yeah, I don't think there's a full.
I tried to sneak in a few things like sneaker talk, stuff like that, because I definitely want to argue.
You're so toxic and so crazy.
Arguing is so much better than storytelling.
You want to know the reason why?
I have a great story, but like.
No, I love storytelling. I storytell and I love to argue. Go ahead.
And I haven't even talked about PS Reserve or Ghost. Like
you still got a lot of
I got a lot to tell, but like
the main reason why he asked you to wear fake sneakers was just the sole reason, just to irk me, bro. That's the only reason why he asked.
Yeah.
Only reason. Argue. You want to wear fake sneakers.
I don't wear fake sneakers.
You have a community inspired to wear fake sneakers.
No, I just don't judge people who do. That's all I don't. I just don't.
I just don't like counterfeit things.
No.
I don't
We're
like.
moving on.
I'm not gonna go with any counterfeit money. I'm just gonna walk out here with counterfeit money.
Well, hold on. No, take it a deeper level though. Like counterfeit footwear is funding a ton of inappropriate operations and businesses. Do you ever think about that?
Appreciate you guys again for watching.
Oh, you don't want to have that.
Once again, guys, it's been another episode of the Fair Game Podcast. I am C.
This is Cash,
and we got our guest,
Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Damn, I messed that up.
We'll do it again for you. We'll do it again.
Once again, guys, it's been another episode of the Fair Game Podcast. I am C.
This is Cash.
And our guest is
Him Mickey.
Him Mickey.
Him Mickey.
You are the main character in your story. Dress like it. Get it. Bow.
Coming in hot.
Great job.
And cut.